Yay! It's my fantasy football show. You should watch it. Why, hello and welcome back to all of my friends, my fans, and my fellow FTFL to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football show out there. That's right, boys and girls. It is time once again for the FTFL Weekly Update, and I am Brett Sieber, not only the host of this show, not only the two-time league champ, but also the owner of a team that has been thrust into a completely unfair, more so maybe unjust, pizza bowl bracket. Woo! Welcome back, boys and girls, the FTFL Weekly Update, the 14 games of the regular season. 3.5 months, poof, gone. And we're marching to the playoffs. Speaking of marching, it looks like our old friend the Reaper has left the friendly confines of the graveyard, and he's coming for me. Oh, whatever will I do? I'll just relax, drink some water, and not sweat it, because please, I already got the best of you once, buddy. We got it on film. Do you really want people to see you get got a second time? Come on, man. Speaking of getting got, Peter. Woo-wee! Peter, the fourth highest scoring team in the league. Peter, the only person who didn't once during the 14 weeks of the regular season have the lowest score of the week. Peter, who no longer owns a first nor a second round pick. Peter has missed the playoffs. He finishes 500. He had a hell of a season. I kind of felt like his team was probably the team to beat. Alas, nay. You too, my friend. Well, it all depends, I suppose, on what happens to Sid. More on him in a moment. But you too, my friend, are in this pizza bowl, which up until what? About 2.5 hours ago, far as I knew the FTFL operated, when something new was introduced, then we would wait a year before we would actually implement it. So at the draft, hey, loser, worst record, buys pizza. Perfect, easy enough. That's the punishment. But then to jump from the worst record to whoever loses the pizza bowl, that's where I have a bit of an issue in all of this, because as you see, yes, I went 3-11 on the season, which is the new worst record in league history. Alas, I was not alone, because Eric also finished 3-11, and because I beat him head-to-head, Eric is your worst team in the league, and probably is the one that should buy pizza. But I guess we're going to do this pizza bowl instead. Oh, actually, one of the things we are going to get to this week, finally, Fantasy Confessions. Phone lines are lit up like a Christmas tree. Bart is standing by, ready to get to those in a moment, but I mentioned him earlier. Our dear and wonderful friend, Sid Hagen. Now, it is well documented. Jeff Markser, early in the season, he quit. Team went on a tear. Oh, look who's in the playoffs, Jeff Markser. And then Adam Swart. His team quit. Oh, look, he's won 4 in a row, and now he has a first-round bye because he won the division. And then there was Sid, who's, I don't know, corporate offices put out some sort of message talking about how they were giving up on the season. What did he do after that? 1-2 weeks in a row. Into the playoffs he goes. Well, and let's not get ahead of ourselves. Sid goes to the playoffs often. But why? Why does Sid go to the playoffs here, my friends, is what I have talked about for years on this show. If there is anyone in this league who can turn poop into platinum, turds into gold, it is none other than the Sid Hagen. I mean, I guess 4-dimensional chess and or blindfolded tiddlywinks with your opposite hand. I don't know. What I do know is that Sid Hagen believed in Joe Flacco, while the rest of the NFL gave up on Joe Flacco. The NFL was done with him, but not Sid. No. And when did Sid pick him up? When did Sid feel like now was the time to put all the eggs in the Joe Flacco basket? Oh, when he had to win to get into the playoffs. Please. Oh, but we all know how this story ends, don't we? Sid Hagen rises to the occasion once more. Joe Flacco, 26 points. Now, he had more than that, I believe, and we'll get to that in a second. Actually, here, it's coming up. He did have more than that. He had 28 points. He scored 26 points in all of 2021, 50 in all of 2022. This dude was on his couch, and now he's in the playoffs with none other than Make Cramerica great again. And that, my friends, is the first game, the most important game. Sid coming into 6-7, taking on the Valhalla. Still waiting for you to get up off the couch yourself, Peter, and come get this hammer. Valhalla Vandals at 7-6. 113 for Sid, 84 for Peter. If you're Sid, again, Deebo Samuel, 29.5 points. Woo! That dude is 96.5 in his last 5 games, 140.5 on the season. The dude is on fire. 28 points for Joe Flacco. Brandon Aubrey, 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3 50-yard field goals. I mean, Peter on Sunday night, just watching Aubrey abuse him, 1 50-yarder after the next. Javonte Williams, 13.5. Collins, half point. He gets injured. Yep, not going to play anymore. Garrett Wilson, thankfully, though, on the bench. Now, I don't know how long Nico Collins is going to be out, but Garrett Wilson, if Zach Wilson's going to play that way, maybe it won't matter. And of course, again, poop into platinum. That is what Make Cramerica does better than anyone else. If you're Peter, what a tough way to end your season. 17.5 for Elliott, the 12 for the Jets, 11 for Ayuk. Run CMC and A.J. Brown, both 10.5 points. McManus, 10 points himself. Sorry, that was Mahomes. He does not have McManus. Mahomes, 10 points. Amon-Ra, first round pick Amon-Ra, 1.5. Travis Kelce, 7. Now, Peter, without a first, without a second, I ask you this, and you have time to think about it. Where do you want to make that first round selection? If you're not going to have a first round pick or a second round pick, you're probably going to want a pretty high third round pick. So yeah, go ahead and pick as high as you want. And I thank you. All right, next game on the docket, Team Dick.
Welcome, FTFL, to the Fantasy Graveyard. 3 teams have been left unscathed by the Reaper. 1, barely, because of that fool Brett interrupted my proceedings. Speaking of 3, the team whose fate is sealed this week has failed to score over 80 points for 3 straight weeks. Not a good sign for your playoff chances. Now to the Fantasy Graveyard and see whose fate is sealed. Welcome to the graveyard. Yes, this season was one for the books. For your team anyways. But now, I think, yes, the bubble has burst. You are no longer a contender. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, yes, maybe someday the FTFL will hand out participation trophies, and you can consider yourself a winner. Yes, a former 2-time champ, and an only 2-time champ forever. Who is it? Who do we have? Yes, Dick Weed. Your season is over. Better luck next year.
Who is just in free fall at the moment, coming in at 9-4, tenuously holding on to the division lead, taking on Mana, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title thieving, riding that horseshoe train, choo, all the way to the playoffs. Champ Mana coming in at 7-6, and wouldn't you know it, late on Monday night, DeAndre Hopkins and company got Jeff that win, forcing John to play this week. Oh boy, oh my. John had the division on lock. Adam Sport came rolling 4 in a row. John lost 3 in a row. If your marks are Breece Hall, 18, DeAndre Hopkins, 17.5, Dak, 16, Travis Etienne, 12, Justin Jefferson in his glorious return, just 1 whole point for Jeff Markser. That stings a bit. However, maybe he's back in. Maybe he's the reason Jeff wins. Really, the only reason Jeff's winning because he quit. And that's how it works unless you're, well, me. Maybe, John, you should have just gotten involved and quit too. Maybe that would have staved off the bleeding. You did make the playoffs, but boy, oh boy, taking on water as you went. 19.5 for Saquon Mixon, 15.5. Kyle Pitts, 13.5 points. By the way, in Kyle Pitts' illustrious 3-year career, maybe even 4 now, I don't know. That is over the last 3 years, that ties him for the second highest point total that he's ever gotten. Again, if there was ever a tight end and or just a fantasy player that was overrated, he might top the list. Michael Pittman Jr., 12 points for him. Justin Herbert, 0, and he is out for the rest of the season, meaning Brock Purdy, who was on the bench and is on fire, will now go into the lineup, and maybe just as he has raised up the San Francisco 49ers, he can raise up John's team as well. As I said, 3 losses in a row. John will now march into the playoffs to take on, well, he's not taking on Matt. He is taking on Sid. You're screwed. Sid gave up. That's the magic ticket. Lastly here, before we get to Fantasy Confessions, the Architect coming in at 7-6, taking on the Pack Attack, the Pizza Buy-In Pack Attack, if we were to abide by our own rules, coming in at 3-10. And Matt, my God, Matt is on a roll. 4 in a row for him as well. 105 to Eric, 71.5 for your Matt. DJ Moore. Boy, if the Buffalo Bears, Jesus. If the Chicago Bears are going to figure this out and Justin Fields is going to be better, DJ Moore is going to absolutely reap the benefits. 23 for him. Cortland Sutton, George Kittle, both with 15.5. Rashad White, 15. Bijan, 12.5. Justin Tucker, 12. CJ Stroud, 0. Got a concussion. He might come back in. I don't know. Tua is Matt's backup. Tua this week was awful. You need CJ Stroud to make this train keep rolling. Or now that you're in the playoffs, now you quit. Tell them to say you're giving up and you'll go on to the semifinals. I promise. Try it. See what happens. Pack Attack, Josh Allen 18, Zerline 17. Only 2 people in double digits. You head off to the Pizza Bowl. And now, no emails. Now, no letters sent in. Strictly phone calls. Fantasy Confessions. I think we're going to get it right this time. Bart, you're up, brother. Well, hey there, it's your old friend Bart from Browville. Now, I'd like to apologize here before we get into the Fantasy Confessions. You can tell I'm not very camera-friendly today. I mean, I kind of hate to admit this, but I was out driving around and I had some gum I've been chewing on, I don't know, like 7 or 8 hours. It was really pretty stale, pretty tough. You know, no flavor whatsoever left on that thing. So I rolled down the window and I went to spit that dang gum thing out, and the wind was like blowing right back in my face, caught me right in the eye. Man, I mean, the doctor says I'm going to be all right, but it's going to take a couple days for the swelling to go down. All right, so we've tried this now, taking email submissions, and that was just a disaster because as someone hacked in, it was terrible, it was awful. And then we thought, well, we got this. People can mail in their fantasy confessions. Well, that didn't go so well either. So tonight, we're going to the phone lines to do this. I'm going to go ahead and click this button over here. Caller 1, you are on Fantasy Confessions. Go ahead.
Well, hi, mate. First-time caller, long-time listener. I wanted you to know that my fantasy confession is this. Excuse me there, mate. I like to hide jelly beans in my butt. Then later, I add them back into the bowl on the counter at work. It is quite a delight watching people's faces as they eat them. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
That's awful. That's terrible. It's horrible. You're a terrible person. I can't believe that. I mean, I feel sorry for the people that you work. My goodness gracious. Please stop that. Seek help. That's not all right. That's definitely all right. You know what? What is the deal, man? We try to get like fantasy football type things, and every week there's something just wildly. All right. You know what? We'll go ahead and go to caller two. Caller two. Go ahead.
Hello, I am, is this Fantasy Confessions? All right, so I like to lick the bottoms of my dog's paws after each time my team scores. We're watching, like, all of my players. I think he likes it because he runs over every time football is on. It's quite adorable. All right, well, thanks for taking my call. Goodbye.
Well, I mean, I don't know if adorable is the word I would use for that, but I mean, it's better than the jelly bean guy, so I mean, I suppose, and I mean, but then again, I don't know what your dog has stepped in either, so that seems like a risk, but I mean, at least it was football related. All right, so I mean, every week we kind of seem to have at least one of those, so I mean, that's a 1 out of 3. That's not a terrible batting average. Heck, that can get you $700 million, hit a few home runs, throw a ball or two. Anyways, last one, caller number 3. Go ahead, you were on Fantasy Confessions.
Oh, yeah, Saturday night. Uh-huh. A pool full of Jell-O, yeah. And your mom, oh, dig it.
But by gosh dang it, I can't believe it. Why does this continue to happen? We tried I just got rootin' tootin'. That's it. Fantasy Confessions over. I'm coming for you, son of a gun. I feel for Bart. I really don't know how that one individual keeps hacking through this. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of this. I hope that's not tied into all the other shenanigans that are going around, with regarding this, but anyways, let's get back to the games. Southbound Pachyderms coming in at 9-4, taking on the Mixing Cocktails at 5-9. If you remember, 4 weeks ago, a month ago, Swartz said, you know what, I'm quit. My whole team's up for sale. Serious offers only. This season is done. And he's done nothing but win since. Except for this week. Andy gets a rather unnecessary win. However, both Seaburg brothers pulled off unnecessary wins this week. Mixing Cocktails, 102.5 to Adam, 76.5. If you're Andy, Justin Fields, who you hope to probably be way better this year, 22 points. David Njoku rises from the ashes. Boy, I guess Joe Flacco really likes him some David Njoku. 21 for him, 16 for Kupp. Austin Eckler, now that Herbert is out and the stick kid came in, Eckler's numbers went up when Stick came in. Is there more of that? I hope so, because I have him in my other league, the one league where I made the playoffs, where there's 14 teams and only 6 people get in. I made it. Why? Why, you asked? Brett, did you quit on the season? No, I did not quit. I'm just way more lucky in that league. Always have been. Miami, 11 points. Jamar Chase, 1.5 points. Now, Jamar Chase, without Joe Burrow this year, coming in later, whatever, he's actually now scored more points than he had last year. Not as many as he did in 21. Andy maybe makes him a keeper. I don't know. You kind of look at Jamar Chase and go, what could have been? If you're Swart, Russell Stupid Face Wilson, that's what you get for starting Stupid Face Wilson, 20 points. James Cook, 16.5. CeeDee Lamb, 13. Mike Evans, lowest point total of the season, half point. Matt Gay, lowest point total of the season, 0 points. Remember last week, Swart benefited from all these guys playing really well and John's team not playing really well. Swart this week couldn't quite get it done. Now, Evan Ingram was on the bench with 23.5 points. Wouldn't have mattered. Swart still, though, backs his way into a division title. I'm not even going to clap. No, you don't deserve that. Lastly, the Radioactive Monkeys, who joined the elite. And by the way, the only team this year who joined the 10-win club. Swart had a crack at it. John had several cracks at it. Salty, you might have been able to go on to 11 wins and set the record. Actually, sorry, 11 wins would have been the tied 12. You had that. It was all there. But you couldn't quite get it done against, good God, the lowly Hulk of Maniacs, coming into 2-11. 67.5 for me, 52.5 for Saltmarsh. If you're me, Jahmyr Gibbs looked good. He is going to be a keeper, 11.5 points. Cleveland's defense, 11. Jordan Love, 10 points. Jordan, here's what I'm going to say about last night, or whenever you're watching this Monday night. First half was awful. These, too many turnovers. We looked out of sync. The last 2 possessions, cool, calm, and collected. I like how you brought it back in. You still had a chance. The defense couldn't quite get it done for you there when it was time. Oh, well, you win some, and I guess you lose some. However, I do see us winning more than losing going forward. If you're Adam, 18.5 for most start. Otherwise, 6 guys had 5 points or lower. Jalen Hurts, whoa. You were on the Jalen Hurts gravy train, brother, and now the Eagles are really struggling. Thus, you are really struggling. 4 points again for him. Tyreek Hill rolled his ankle, 6 points, came back into the game. Will he be 100%? Without Hurts and without Hill playing the way they're going to play, you might just be done early. Got to buy, so you will be playing in a money game at one point or another, but will it be the money game? That is yet to be seen. All right, stud, dud, and the cringy stud of the week. Back-to-back weeks. Deebo Samuel. My goodness gracious. Dude is on fire. Now, of course, I'm sure somewhere Sid is sitting there just eating his gluten-free, dairy-free food that he had to go into the fridge to get and because he was all of his own snacks. And he's saying, but hold on, Brett, hold on. Remember when you kept giving me crap about trading away Tyreek Hill for Deebo Samuel? Remember when I told you I was playing four-dimensional chess? Remember when I said I was playing the schedules? Well, look at me now. Although, if Deebo's going to play that way, look out. Dud of the week, Amon-Ra, 1.5 points. He was averaging 11 plus. Wouldn't have made up the difference, but really a thud to that first round pick. I'm guessing that Peter will keep him, but then again, Peter's got a ton of keepers, so who knows? Cringy, Eric and I for setting the league record for worst seasons in the history at 3-11. Although Peter, maybe for selling the farm, and then, I mean, hey, people have gotten it for less. Would we let the cringy keep it? The cringy keep the cringy? I guess we'll have to see. All right, folks, it's playoffs. It's week 1. Now, of course, in the Pizza Bowl, where only the losers advance, you have the Valhalla Vandals, Valhalla, coming in at 7-7, taking on the Pack Attack at 3-11. Peter holds the all-time series record 4-2 edge over Eric, and the Brother Bowl Part 3. The Hulkamaniacs coming in at 3-11, taking on the Mixing Cocktails of 5-8, and I, in one of the only two of the only records I have better all plays against, not all plays, but career records against, I hold the advantage over Andy, 25-21. On the winner's side of the bracket, you have Make Crim America Great Again at 7-1, coming in and taking on Team I'm Struggling Big Time Dickweed at 9-5. Sid holds the 28-20-2 advantage over John. And the last meaningful game of the week, the Manaf, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title thieving. I gave up, but boy, oh boy, was there an extra seat on the horseshoe train, and I rode it all the way to the playoffs. Choo, choo, Champ Manaf coming in at 8-6, taking on the Architect at 8-6, and Jeff holds the all-time series record advantage at 17-6. Matt, if I'm going to throw my weight, my wishings of good luck, listen to me go. I backed you early in the season. The Reaper thought that was funny. Well, guess who's laughing now, Reaper? Yeah, this guy. Because look at Matt go. He's 4 in a row. And I think, Matt, you've got what it takes. CJ Stroud get well soon. Aaron. Good luck, Aaron. It would be quite the win for Matt, of course. Salty and Swart, the Adams are both on a bye. And for now, it is time for me to say bye. That wraps it up. The regular season is the book. Next week on location, the giant holiday extravaganza. I will take my giant sack out once more for all to see, and it will be bursting with gifts that I will shower upon all of you. And we'll do that from Adam Swart's hot tub in Eagan, Minnesota, next Wednesday, December 20th. Until that time, my friends, peace!
Brett! I never leave the graveyard, but you owe me a soul, and I know you're out there. I can feel your presence, and this will lead me to you. You better beware. I will find you out there, wherever you are. You You better hide!